Welcome to Beyond the Campfire, the Dead by Daylight podcast where we dive into the stories, secrets, and strategies behind the horrors and heroes within the fog. I'm Dogbomb, and I am joined by my co-host, Lemon. Hello, Lemon.
Hi, Dogbomb. How are you? I haven't spoken to you forever.
Forever, at least a week.
That's forever.
That's not that long. I'm all right. I'm really good. I say this every single week. I realize now it's a trope, but I'm very tired. I've been away for 5 days, and I've just got back into my studio. Yeah, we'll talk about that as we go through. But yeah, I'm very tired. How are you?
Think the day you show up and say, I haven't been tired for a week, that is the day I will fall off my chair.
Get ready for us, because there will come a week.
You sure?
I'll have a restful week eventually.
But
Yeah.
I'm good. I've just missed my DVD bestie.
Have you been playing some Dead by Daylight?
Played a bit, and I have done a bit of Adapt.
Mm-hmm.
The survivors we already have talked about. I found out, Meg and Claudette, it was a bit
Mm-hmm.
easier after you went through the perks and how to use them. So I tried Nia and then I failed, so I guess I need to wait a bit with Nia. But yeah.
And how did your Trapper game go?
Sorry, I think I have some audio issues. So what did you say?
Have you still not done any killer games? Have you not done a Trapper game yet?
Yeah, Happy New Year to you too, Dapper.
Wow.
No, I have not played Killer.
Who is today's featured character?
Today we are talking about the Hillbilly.
Cool. We did ask a question. We asked a couple of questions last week, actually.
We did.
We asked, let's deal with my question first. So my question was, which episode are people most looking forward to? Nobody said the Hillbilly, first of all.
That's true.
But we did have comments from Isaac, who said that they are looking forward to Jake Park's story.
Yeah.
As that is their main, and they know nothing about them.
That excites me that we actually are going to talk about somebody's main.
Yeah. Doc, who we both know from my Twitch, commented that they are looking forward to Pyramid Head and Wesker.
Yes.
Or at least Dead by Daylight's take on Pyramid Head and Wesker, which I am as well. I'm actually quite interested to know whether the law's different or how they've written them into Dead by Daylight, I guess.
Yeah. Then we had Kathy.
Yeah, Kathy, who is excited to hear about twins and artist, and was the only person who admitted to being a weird kid.
Yeah. And I'm not surprised.
I'm surprised. I thought there'd be hundreds of weird kids out there.
But I'm not surprised Kathy's one of them.
Oh, no, I'm not surprised by that. No. That goes without saying, but I thought there'd be a lot more weird kids out there.
I think for the others, I guess it's just implied that they're the weird kid. Right?
It's implied. So you've told us about your Dead by Daylight this week. I've not played a great deal. I did a stream just before I went away. I'm continuing to do tomes. I've now kind of realized how long it's going to take me. And I feel like I will finish my tomes at the same time as I finish the achievements, which might be a long while off, yeah.
Are we talking months or years?
I think we're talking, somewhere between months and years, I think. I don't know. It's going to be a while. It's a long ask.
Wow.
But in the meantime, the PTB has been released. We've got the Stranger Things Part 2 PTB. Have you seen any of it? Have you played any of it?
No, I have never played the PTB, but I also don't know anything about Stranger Things. So I have just started to watch the TV show on Netflix. So
Mhm.
maybe I need to take my headset off because no spoilers, please.
No real spoilers other than we have a killer, um, who looks really interesting, really interesting. They seem a little bit overpowered, but I don't know if that's just because they're new. People don't know how to play around them yet. Um, they play, I don't know, they stack a bit like Sadako, a bit like the Unreal. So they get stacks on people. Yeah, it's a strange one. It's a strange one. I'd be interested to know if anybody's played it and what they thought, or what they thought if they've watched any of it.
Hmm.
Um, the survivor perk's really interesting though. We do have a new kind of trolley perk in Badaboom, which is Dustin's
Yeah.
perk. Yeah, you can now trap vaults, so you can trap windows
Oh,
and slow killers down as they go through windows.
that sounds interesting.
Yeah, I can see some interesting fun builds being built around that. So yeah, we'll hold out till the 27th of January and we'll find out. It's not
Yes.
long.
And
How
by
exciting.
then, I will have watched all the seasons. I promise.
By the 27th, good luck.
Yes, I will. I can do it. I'm a really good couch potato.
This week, it's all about the master of mechanical meandering. It is the Hillbilly.
So this week, I'm going to talk about the Hillbilly. The Hillbilly is also known as Max Thompson Jr. and just Billy. This week, I will not be using the name Max, as that will make sense a bit later. So I will call him Billy. I am also going to start with the tome this week, and this will be tome 5. But just for some background knowledge, uh, Billy's parents are wealthy landlords, so I imagine that they have some sort of status in the local community that they want to uphold. When Billy was born, he was disfigured, and they were ashamed of him. They did not give him a name, they just called him Boy. They hid him from the world and let him live in a cell made of bricks. And here he just got his food through a hole in the wall. So, in Tome 5, we get 10 memories and a clip. And this is a part of Tome called A Man Named Boy. So, Billy only had a TV in his cell. And one day, when he sits in the darkness, he hears laughter. He can hear his father and what he calls the chief. So I guess this is the local sheriff in town. He can hear that the chief has brought some of his deputies that are also laughing. And Billy knows that they are there to watch the freak show. He hears his father calling him his killing machine. Billy gets really frustrated, as he has seen on TV that police should be there to help and protect him. But Billy knows that the chief is the other kind of police, the kind that helps his father clean money. He has overheard that while working in the pig pen, and even though Billy is not completely sure what it means, he knows it's bad. As his father opens the door to the brick cell, the room gets flooded in sunlight. His father grabs him and tells him it's time to show the deputies his worth. In the next memory, Billy is standing in the barn. He feels like he is watching himself from a distance, almost like he's watching a TV show. His hammer is covered in blood, and he is surrounded by 7 or 8 cows with their heads cracked open, so the brain is spilling out. He hears his father yell, "Boy, you're not done yet." This makes Billy's thoughts run wild. He knows that his parents think that he is so stupid that he doesn't know that he doesn't have a name. But Billy has known his whole life that he doesn't have a real name. But he has imagined how it would feel if his father had been so proud of him that he would have given Billy his own name, Max Thompson. While daydreaming about making his father proud, he feels a push. His father pushes him and yells, "Come on, show them now." Billy feels the rage inside of him, and everything gets blurry. There is blood, there are screams, but it's not from the cows. He gets confused. He looks around. He looks for his father, but he can't find him. He sees the chief, who is yelling, "What have you done?" But Billy doesn't really hear him. He has that same feeling as when his mother kept his head underwater as a child to teach him not to call for her. Everything is muffled. Billy gets tackled by the chief, who grabs the hammer out of Billy's hand. And the chief yells that he has killed his own father, but also all the chief's men. Billy wiggles off the chief. He's covered in blood, and he goes towards the main house while screaming for his mother. In the next moment, his mother is laying on the floor. She gurgles blood, and chips of teeth is sliding out of her mouth when she tries to talk. But Billy keeps asking, "What is my name? My name?" Billy slams her against the ground again and again, but she doesn't answer. She can't answer. He lifts her up and throws her on the kitchen table, so the table breaks. He notices the blood is flooding out from her leg, and then she blacks out. Billy holds her and asks, "Why did you hate me so much?" He looks at her face. Her face is both beautiful and hideous at the same time, as she was evil disguised as beauty. Billy hugs his mother harder and harder, wishing that he had been one of the family's pigs. Even the pigs had names and got love and affection. He releases his mother's body from his arms, and her head lands in a puddle of blood. Her eyes are still open, and Billy looks at them, as those eyes saw him as a monster, as a thing. They never saw him as a son. He hates his mother's eyes, so he rips them out and squeezes them until they pop. Billy smiles without knowing why. He wipes blood off his face while he is enjoying the mushy feelings of ice in his hands. While Billy is standing in the kitchen, the chief comes running in, yelling at Billy, but the chief slides in an inch of warm blood on the floor. And in a panic, Bill runs outside, where it is getting darker, so he goes into the woods, but he can hear the chief keep screaming and shooting at him. Billy keeps running. The chief keeps yelling. He yells that he regrets telling Billy's parents that a monster as him could be a good and cheap farm worker. He yells that Billy's parents did try to kill Billy by pouring boiling water over Billy as a child to make it look like an accident. Billy doesn't want to listen to the chief. He covers his ears, But after a short time, he hears more voices. The chief has called for backup, for more deputies. Billy thinks they all deserve to die and recognize some of the deputies as they have been to the farm before, laughing at him, laughing at the freak show. In his hiding spot, Billy is thinking about how it is easier to kill a man than a cow. The only issue is that the man makes much more fuss about it. Billy hears the chief yelling and searching for him, but he is hiding by a tree and some brambles. He has some deputy brain in his hand, and it has the same texture as a cow brain. Billy really liked the feeling of brain, and it helps with his anxiety. It keeps him calm. Billy hears more deputies yelling in the woods, and he wishes his heroes from the TV would just show up and help him. But he knows that they can't. It's not real. So today, he has to be his own kind of hero. Then Billy hears the chief talk to the last two deputies about dogs. There are dogs on the way to help them search for Billy. That makes him scared, as he has seen on TV that police search dogs can find anything. The chief is trying to get Billy to come out of his hiding by yelling that he knows Billy's name. And if he just comes out with his hands over his head, he will tell them. While Billy is sitting in his hiding spot, all of a sudden he sees a shadow moving fast. And the next second, he feels a sharp pain in his wrist. A dog has found him. A moment later, the chief is standing in front of Billy. He pulls out a knife and is ready to attack. This is where Billy's anger reaches a whole new level, and he just shakes off the dog from his wrist. Then he wrestles the chief to the ground, and Billy forces the chief's hand to stab himself in the belly. Then there's more dogs, but Billy just fights them off. It's nothing. He runs as fast as he can back to the house he was never let to live in. Billy remembers that there is a secret room in the basement where he has been tortured by his parent as a child. He is sure that if he gets the TV, he can hide in the basement for a long time without being found, and he even thinks it will be a bit cozy. He wants to go through his parents' things to see if he actually can find his name. Then we see a clip where Billy is throwing the chief into the pig pen. He has a big hole in his stomach, the chief, and the pigs start to feed off him while he is still alive. Then when we look at the in-game bio, we get to know that Billy stays at the farm where he lives alone, and he spends time by killing any animals that is running free on the farm's ground. The body of his parents were never found. And then most of the farmland was sold off, but there was never a buyer for the house. That is what we know about our hillbilly.
Oh, and that farm is a map. Is that right?
Yes, it is.
That is the Coldwind Farm that we see in Dead by Daylight.
Where you see the cows hanging from the trees and
Cows from the trees, the cow tree, and the pigs hung up in the middle building.
yes. So next time you're on that map, you can like imagine when you run by the cow how their brain is like a fidget toy to stay calm.
Oh gosh. I always stay calm around that tree. You can hear that tree mooing. Did you know
Yeah.
this?
Yes. I think I was the one noticing it.
You can hear it mooing when you're running around there. That's so good.
Yeah. But cow
I,
brain
I,
for fidget toy.
I don't know what to think about that story. I think everybody was pretty evil in that story. Uh,
Well, I don't think Billy is evil.
he killed an awful lot of people.
He was made evil.
Can you be made evil? Is that a thing? This is a deeper conversation than we have on these podcasts. But
Yeah. But he was not born evil, he was made evil.
is anyone born evil? Again, that's a much deeper conversation that we can have on this
He
podcast.
was born with some physical problems. But I'm sure if he just got a good turtleneck, long sleeved like shirt, he would be fine. And that is why we call him Turtleneck Guy.
No, 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 no. That's not how we get out of this. You call him turtleneck guy.
And you agree.
Do not agree. But thank you for telling the story of Hillbilly, and thank you for using the name Billy. I think that was quite kind of you to not use his in-game name, his other name. He's also called the Crooked, and I can explain that as I talk about his perks. So, the Hillbilly. The Hillbilly is famously the chainsaw guy, or the first chainsaw guy in Dead by Daylight. There is another yet to come, but when Billy was first in the game, he was the only person with the chainsaw. And his whole play style and power is all about speed, pressurizing the map, and instantly downing people with his chainsaw. By revving up the chainsaw, you can cross the map with extreme speed and down survivors in a single hit if he connects with that chainsaw. However, he does have a catch, and that is control. He's incredibly difficult to control. If you collide into anything, it causes a stun. If you over rev the chainsaw, it can overheat. At his peak, he feels absolutely unstoppable, but at his worst, you just bounce around the map a little bit while the survivors leave the tiles. So his weapon, the chainsaw, it has two modes, I guess. And that is a chainsaw sprint, which increases his movement speed to super fast, or in DBD terms, 10.12 meters per second, which is super fast. That gets him from corner to corner of the shack in under a second. However, he does become less maneuverable. And if you rev the chainsaw while you're sprinting, you charge up your overdrive meter. This is relatively new to the Hillbilly, and it does decharge if it's not used in a prolonged time. But once it's full, you have an enhanced chainsaw. And for 20 seconds, you are even faster with your chainsaw sprint, 12 meters per second, which is even less than a second from edge to edge of the shack. Your charge speed is faster and your cooldown is reduced on the chainsaw. He does have some interesting add-ons for that chainsaw. A lot of the add-ons are based around making those numbers different. So making the numbers faster, slower, easier to turn, reducing the recharge, increasing how much overcharge you can get. But there are a couple of interesting ones which I've picked out, and I think the one that I enjoy the most is one called Low Pro Chains. You don't see it too much these days, but it always surprises me whenever it is on the killer, and it essentially allows him to sprint through pallets and breakable walls, and he can break them and continue to run through the pallet or the breakable wall. If he does hit you after that, you don't get the double hit effect, so you just take one injury, but it can really, really surprise you, especially if it's revealed like halfway through a game. If you are injured, it doesn't down you. It just gives you deep wound a little bit like Legion would give you. He has another called the Filthy Slippers. The Filthy Slippers gives him undetectable after he's been sprinting for at least 2 seconds. He becomes undetectable, which if you're on a generator on the other side of the map, you hear the chainsaw, but you don't actually get a warning that he's near you, and you simply get downed. That's a nasty one. That's a nasty one. Both of these are purple add-ons, by the way. And the last one is a purple add-on as well. His iridescent add-ons aren't particularly interesting to me, I don't think. I'm sure others find them useful, and they are useful. They make him faster and charge faster and increase charge time, but they are just increases of numbers. But the Apex Muffler is the third one I'd like to talk about, and that silences the chainsaw for every survivor outside of the terror radius. So you can't hear it when he's running that if you are outside of his terror radius. That combined with the Filthy Slippers, which makes him undetectable, that can be absolutely devastating. You don't hear him coming, you don't see him coming. He simply chainsaws you off a gen. Very nasty. And I quite like it. He does have 3 teachable perks, and in no particular order. I say that every week, but they are in alphabetical order, I believe. But his first perk is Enduring. Enduring reduces a pallet stun by 50%. So essentially, when you stun a killer with a pallet and they do that whole, "Argh!" Guess who that killer is, by the way? Answers in the comments. It reduces it by 50%. So it goes from to. That was a good impression. I've impressed myself there. It basically takes a pallet stun from 2 seconds down to 1 second, and that's all it does. It used to be able to recover from most stuns, but it only does pallets these days. It can be useful for aggressive killers who want to just continue to go through pallets and can really change up a mind game around a pallet or around a loop. And it's incredibly useful on any particular M1 killers, any killer that's just using their secondary weapon.
What does M1 mean?
M1 is the mouse one, so it's your left click on a mouse, and it's what everybody says, even if they're using controller. So an M1 is just a standard hit. They're not using their special
Okay.
power or their special weapon.
Okay.
The second perk is Lightborn. Lightborn has 2 effects, and one effect I don't think a lot of people know about. It's the main effect, the reason why a lot of people run Lightborn is it stops you from being blinded by flashlights. They've since or recently-ish added on firecrackers, flashbangs, and blast mines onto that. So you can't be blinded by any of those. But the secondary effect is anyone who tries to blind you get revealed for 10 seconds. So if you put a blast mine on a generator and then hide around the corner, and the generator is kaboom, then they can see where you are for 10 seconds. So that's actually quite interesting to know that. It doesn't prevent the stun on say a blast mine. So if they kick the gen and they blast mined, they will still get stunned and they will still go into the stun animation. They just won't get blinded. The second thing that Lightborn used to do was it used to change the brightness of a map. It used to make all the maps darker to compensate for Lightborn, but they've removed that long ago so that they have more control over how maps look. A lot of people have this in the back pocket for in the lobby if they can see that survivors are starting to put flashlights on, or there's 4 people running flashlights. People will put Lightborn on as a 4th perk, and it's there for peace of mind rather than it's not a strong perk, and if they never attempt a blind or you never get blind in a game, it's kind of useless, but it can be incredibly satisfying as a killer to just stare down a flashlight. Someone tries to flashlight you, you just stare right into their damn soul. So satisfying. The third perk, Tinkerer. I think this is my favorite of the 3, Tinkerer. At least I say favorite of the 3, I mean from a killer's perspective. As a survivor, it's the worst of the 3. When a generator is repaired to 70%, the killer gets a loud noise notification, so a bang, as though a gen's been banged. And it's very distinctive from the killer side, so they know it's a Tinkerer bang rather than a regular bang. They are granted the undetectable status effect for 16 seconds, so they suddenly become a ghost. You're about to finish the gen, they've become a ghost, they can just start heading towards you and pull you off that gen or chainsaw you off that gen. It's so useful on Billy, especially with the other add-ons that I spoke about. You can get surprise chainsaw downs from across the other side of the map because 16 seconds is quite a long time to be undetectable. Also, you don't need to go to that gen. You know that there's people on that gen. It's 70% done, so it's probably worth pressuring it. But if you know there's another survivor nearby, not the one. If you're in a chase, they still know you're there because you're obviously chasing them. But you can divert. You can mind game this shit. You can really go to town with Tinkerer. I like it. It can only be triggered once per generator per trial. So once you've triggered it once, you can go back on that generator without fear of re-triggering, even if it goes below 70%. It works incredibly well with Merciless Storm. So Merciless Storm, we've not got to Onryo yet, but it's an Onryo perk, which is the one which is difficult skill checks at the end of a repair. So in the last part of a generator, you get a whole bunch of difficult skill checks. And if you're trying to do difficult skill checks and the killer is undetectable, you're done. You're done. You're absolutely done. So it goes really well with that particular perk. And this is where Hillbilly's other name comes in. So in the flavor text for Tinkerer, he used to be referred to as the Crooked, which was the alpha name that the game gave to the Hillbilly. He used to be called the Crooked. And yeah, in the flavor text for Tinkerer, it used to say the Crooked makes impressive tools out of scraps. Tools aimed at maiming us in creative ways. It's horrifying to think it's actually intelligent. Incredibly strong, incredibly useful, and works super well with any killer with fast mobility, i.e., Billy. Some things you might want to try out, maybe running Tinkerer Enduring with Bamboozle and Jolt with Billy. Have something to improve your turn rate. And you can learn to do things like Curve Billy. Curve Billy is a particular style of Billy where you will do amazing curves around loops and, manage to get around corners, which you can't often do. Bamboozle will block a window, so you can do things around Shack, which you otherwise couldn't do. And definitely worth trying. Or you can control the map by running maybe Tinker along with Deadlock, Pain Res, Enduring, and you can interrupt people on their generators. You can punish where they are, and you just never stop moving. You're like a big pinball, a big scary chainsaw wielding pinball flying around the map, pressuring almost everyone almost at the same time. Scary, scary killer. And that being said, I think he's not very beginner friendly. He is very specialized. You need to put a lot of work in to be great with Billy. I think everyone can play Billy. He's quite approachable, but he's tough to play. And you can really have a feast of famine game where you will lose everything in the first couple of minutes. But he does have a massive skill ceiling. If you put the work in, I think you can get really good with Billy. Really, really good. And he is quite a scary guy. Do you have any thoughts on Billy? Have you played against Billy much? Have you played as Billy?
I have never played as Billy. I don't really mind him, but knowing that he now decided to live in the basement of his parents, I wish there was some more basement Billies out there.
You don't really get basement killers these days since they
No,
changed the camping bar and things.
but I would enjoy it.
You would enjoy it, okay.
You know, a basement killer here and there. Who wouldn't be happy for that?
I love Billy. I love going against Billy. Um, Doing loops with Billy are some of the funnest loops in the game. I think it's Dead by Daylight sweet spot. I think a decent survivor or a decent loop against a half decent Billy. I think I say a half decent Billy because I think if you're playing against a really good Billy, it's a
Yeah, you're
bloodbath and it's
fucked.
over too quick. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But I think a half decent Billy around a loop, you can
Yeah.
have some real good games,
Mm.
and it can be really fun. And playing as Billy, it could feel amazing. One of the best things to do as Billy is just to rev your chainsaw and sprint around in a big circle around the map, not finding anyone for about 10 minutes, but just, like Mario Karting it around a map. And then maybe randomly connecting with an ace who's just stepped out from behind a rock. It's the best thing. And they think you're amazing because you got them out of nowhere. You think you're amazing because you got them out of nowhere. And it's just you dicking around playing Mario Kart for 10 minutes.
So next time you are asking on your stream if anybody have a favorite color, I'm going to say Billy just to see like watch you do that.
I'll do that. I'll do that. I'll do some Mario Karting. And so every week we like to recommend a creator in the world of Dead by Daylight. And this week's recommendation is based on Hillbilly. It's White Noise Design, who can be found at White Noise Design on Twitch. And the OG, we mentioned Joe a few weeks ago playing with a steering wheel. White Noise Design is steering wheel Billy, is the P100 Billy. Is absolutely cracked at playing Hillbilly, but I'll be honest, is absolutely cracked at playing every single damn killer. Um, do you know White Noise Design? Do you know Ben?
No, I know who they are. I have been to their stream through raids. I follow them, but besides that, I don't really know anything about them.
Yeah, so they're from the northeast of England. They have a similar-ish voice to myself. Um, a little bit, uh, a little bit more authentic. I've lost my voice by being away from the northeast, but they are an absolute delight. Lovely community. Really, really warm person. Ben. And streams, I think one of the reasons why you possibly haven't seen Ben streams very late, um, late at night for us in Europe, and kind of can be still streaming at like 6 o'clock in the morning sometimes, UK time. So yeah, go check them out though if you want to see some absolutely cracking killer. Then White Noise Design is your man.
I will remember that.
So who do we have coming up next week, Lemon?
Next week, we're going to talk about Jake.
Jake Park, yes,
Jake
which
Park.
was one of our commenters looking forward to episodes, if I remember rightly. That was Isaac's.
Yeah, so I'm excited to learn more about Jake. And he will be our last original survivor.
Oh my Lady Gaga. We've done it. We've gotten through a whole section. A quick reminder to everyone that we do have a website, beyondcampfire.com. And that will give you links to all of the podcast platforms, our socials. We do apologize for the socials being a bit slow this week. I've been away, as I said, for 4 days, 5 days. But we will, if we see comments on there or we see people following us, we will add to those. And do you have a question this week?
Yes. Curious to hear if people are looking forward to the part two of Stranger Things. Because I'm not excited yet, but I hope I will be when I have watched the last few seasons.
I'm excited. I do think there will be some tweaks to the killer, but I'm excited. I it's more content, and that can only be a good thing to keep the game going. I've said this for every release that people have been kind of against. It's just more content, and it's more fans coming to the game. It's more new people coming to the game. That's the only thing that'll bring new people to the game at this point because it's
Yeah,
it's old.
it's 10 years old.
So we need to keep getting these licenses, I guess, to get new players in. So yeah, I'm looking for that. I'm looking forward to it for that reason because it's always good to have a new player base.
True.
My question this week from my big list of questions is which killer would you like to get good at if you play killer? Which killer would you like to if you woke up tomorrow and you were instantly great with a killer? Which one would it be? And if you don't play killer, why don't you play killer? I'm interested to know from a survivor only point of view. Why do you not go on to kill the killer side?
That would be my point of view.
Well, that's the question for you then. Why don't you play killer?
I I feel like I've said this before, not last time, but the time before, and that is that I feel guilty for killing people. I don't want to be the reason that they have a shit day just because I killed them. So yeah, I really suck. I feel so bad.
I guess. Well, I'm interested to know if anybody else has any other reasons that they don't play killer other than making other people feel shit.
Like having a great great grandfather who was a killer.
That's a completely different podcast, Lemon.
Yeah, that's me again.
But while we wait for people to tell us all about their guilty reasons for not playing killer, just remember, play safe out there and don't get hooked.